Hello students, in the sequence of ENT lectures, in the previous class we have discussed about the anatomical aspect of nasal cavity and paranasal sinuses, the area surrounding the nasal cavity including the cribriform plate, the orbital cavity and the lacrimal apparatus. Today we are going to conclude this topic of anatomy and then we'll go to the uh, pathological aspect of the nasal cavity. Pathological aspect of the nasal cavity, uh, which is nothing but the disorders of the ENT. So let me open this PowerPoint presentation, and we have already gone through this. Let me expand this. So it's open. Let me enlarge this and okay now. So the anatomy of the nasal cavity in the previous class we have gone through that this is the outline of the nasal cavity. Nasal cavity from anterior to posterior. The anterior nasal aperture is called as anterior nares, and it is communicated to the nasopharynx through the choana. The inferior plate or the floor of the nasal cavity is formed by anteriorly by the hard palate and posteriorly by the soft palate. And below the hard palate is the oral cavity and the oropharynx posterior. So we have got nasopharynx. Let me take a pen in order to elaborate. Take a pen. So this is the nasal cavity. This is the nasal cavity, and this is the nasopharynx. Nasopharynx. This will be the oropharynx, and the pharynx, which is opposite to the larynx, is called as laryngopharynx. Laryngopharynx, also called as hypopharynx. Hypopharynx. And so these we have already concluded. Let me go to the topic which today we have to discuss. We have already gone through the lateral wall. This is inferior concha or turbinate. Turbinate. This will be the middle turbinate, and this will be the superior turbinate. This shelf-like structure is called a concha or turbinate, and the region below this turbinate will be called as this is called as this meatus, meatus or meati. So this will be the superior meati, this will be the middle meatus, this will be the inferior meatus. This will be the choana, and this is supposed to be the nasopharynx. This is opening of the eustachian tube, and this is a torus. This is a cartilaginous elevation on the posterolateral wall of the nasopharynx, and this gutter-like structure or a depression behind the torus is called as fossa of Rosenwiller. Fossa of Rosenwiller. Fossa of Rosenwiller. Rosenwiller. This is a very frequent site of carcinoma of the nasopharynx. We have already detailed about this physiological aspect of the nasal cavity, which includes humidification as well as the temperature regulation mechanism of the nasal cavity. The mucosa of the nasal cavity primarily is pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium, which is also called as respiratory epithelium. We have got three types of epithelium: olfactory epithelium. Majority of the nasal cavity has got the pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium or respiratory epithelium, and anteriorly here we have got a squamous, keratinized squamous epithelium. So this again is the roof of the nasal cavity. Roof of the nasal cavity is formed by the conjunction of the frontal bone as well as the ethmoidal bone. Frontal bone and the ethmoidal bone. The cribriform plate is a sieve-like structure present in the roof of the nasal cavity formed by the ethmoid bone, which transmits or transits the olfactory neurons. Olfactory neurons or neurons of the olfactory nerve, which is first cranial nerve, and which supplies the posterior superior part of the area of the nasal cavity just superior to the superior concha, and this area is yellowish in appearance by presence of a of a pigment which is called as lipofuscin. Lipofuscin. This is interior concha, and let me take you to the structures which opens into the nasal cavity. We have already discussed this. This is supposed to be uh, the septum of the nasal cavity. This is septum of the nasal cavity. This is the nasal cavity. This is the septum. This is the left nasal cavity. This is supposed to be the right nasal cavity. And these three shelf-like structure are called as concha or turbinate. And these are three meatus: superior meatus, inferior meatus, and middle meatus, and the all important openings of various paranasal sinuses. We have got four paranasal sinuses: frontal sinus, ethmoid sinus, which is a group of cells. This is not a single sinus. Sinus is a air-filled cavity in a bone is called as sinus, air-filled cavity, like a mastoid antrum of the temporal bone or mid layer of the temporal bone. So any air-filled cavity in a bone is called as a cell, a cell. So these cells or paranasal sinuses are air-filled cavity around the nasal cavity, and we have got four groups of cells or four groups of sinuses: frontal sinus, ethmoid sinus, maxillary. The largest of all is the maxillary sinus, and the last is sphenoid, which is most posterior and deepest of the nasal cavity. This is supposed to be the sphenoid sinus. This is the posterior and superior part of the nasal cavity, just posterior to the cribriform plate is the sphenoid sinus. The sphenoid sinus is also related to some very important structures, like the roof of the sphenoid sinus has got sella turcica, which houses the pituitary gland. So, and just anterior to this will be the optic chiasma, and in the posterolateral wall we have got this carotid artery. So, the carotid artery, the pituitary gland, and the optic chiasma. These are the very important structures surrounding or adjoining to this sphenoid sinus, apart from the optic nerve as well. So four important structures surrounding the sphenoid sinus. In the roof is the sella turcica, which houses the pituitary gland. Just anterior to the sella turcica will be the optic chiasma and cavernous sinus, and posterolateral wall. We have got two important structures: petrous carotid and uh, uh, paracellar carotid or a cellar carotid, and optic nerve, which arises from the posterior wall of the orbital cavity and goes into the central nervous system. So, as far as this is the septum of the nasal cavity. This is again osteocartilaginous in nature. This is crista galli. Crista galli is a bony spicule of the ethmoid bone, on which the meninges, the arachnoid, pia, and dura are inserted. So this is crista galli. This is supposed to be the frontal sinus. This is nasal bone, and this septum or is osteocartilaginous in nature. So this anterior part of the septum is formed by septal cartilage. This is a single yellow elastic cartilage, just like a conchal cartilage or the cartilage of the concha. Just posterior to the septal cartilage, this is nothing but the perpendicular plate of the ethmoid bone. This is perpendicular plate of the ethmoid bone. So this will be the ethmoid bone. This will be the frontal bone. This will be the nasal bone. Posterior to this will be the sphenoid bone, and this will be the vomer bone. This is vomer bone. So vomer, perpendicular plate of the ethmoid bone. This is septal cartilage, and this is nothing but the horizontal plate of the maxilla. The blue will be the palatine bone. The blue is the palatine, and just posterior to this will be the greater wing of the sphenoid. So this will be the sphenoid. This is palatine. Sorry. and this will be the horizontal plate of the maxilla or palatine plate of the maxilla. This will be the cartilaginous or a septal cartilage. This will be perpendicular plate of the ethmoid. So this will be the cribriform plate. Cribriform plate is the roof of the ethmoid bone. This is roof of the ethmoid bone and pierced by the olfactory neurons, which appears into the proper nasal cavity underneath the mucosa just behind the opening of the frontal sinus. So this cribriform plate transits the olfactory neuron, which appears in the nasal cavity from the olfactory bulb. So this is the olfactory bulb, and they appear into the nasal cavity through the cribriform plate. So cribriform plate is a sieve-like structure which is formed by the roof of the ethmoid bone. This is the middle turbinate, the all important middle turbinate. So the middle turbinate is the most important structure because underneath the middle turbinate, this will be the middle meatus, and various openings of the paranasal sinuses like the frontal sinus, the maxillary sinus, and anterior ethmoidal sinuses are open, has got opening into the maxillary, the middle meatus, and the inferior meatus. This is underneath this inferior turbinate. It houses the important structure, which is nasolacrimal duct. You can easily see the nasolacrimal duct underneath the inferior turbinate in the middle in the inferior meatus by looking through the endoscope 1 centimeter behind the anterior edge of the inferior turbinate. And we have already discussed about lamina peparissia. Lamina peparissia is nothing but a thin bone which separates the orbital cavity from the nasal cavity. See, this is the nasal cavity. It takes height between the orbital cavity up to the cribriform plate. So the thin plate of bone is called as lamina peparissia. Lamina peparissia. Peparissia. So, so this is supposed to be the uh, uh, orbital. This is supposed to be the ethmoidal bone. So this is a schematic diagram of a ethmoidal bone. This will be the crista galli. Crista galli. This will be the orbital plate or lamina peparissia, which separates the ethmoidal cells. These are anterior ethmoidal cells, these are middle ethmoidal cells, these are posterior ethmoidal cells. And part of the ethmoidal bone are also these ridge-like structure. This is the middle turbinate, and this is the superior turbinate. The superior turbinate, the middle turbinate. And this is nothing but the perpendicular plate of the ethmoid bone. So we have got superior turbinate, middle turbinate. These are air cells, which are also called as ethmoidal sinuses. So ethmoidal sinus is not a single sinus; it's a group of sinuses. These are anterior ethmoidal cell, and these are middle, and these are posterior ethmoidal cell. Posterior ethmoidal cell are pyramidal in shape and more large in uh, in dimension than the anterior ethmoidal cell. Anterior ethmoidal cells opens into the middle meatus, whereas the posterior ethmoidal cells opens into the sphenoethmoidal recess. Sphenoethmoidal recess, or the area between the superior meatus, superior turbinate, and the skull base. So this area we are is called as sphenoethmoidal recess, and it houses the opening of the posterior ethmoidal cell. So as far as the opening of different sinuses are concerned, the middle ethmoidal cell, anterior ethmoidal cell, the frontal sinus, and the maxillary sinus opens into the middle meatus. The posterior ethmoidal cells opens into the superior meatus, and the sphenoid sinus opens into the sphenoethmoidal recess. There is a correction. I have just told that the posterior ethmoidal cells opens into the sphenoethmoidal recess, which is not true. Sphenoethmoidal recess houses the opening of the sphenoid sinus. So that's the correction in the lecture. So this, you can see, this is a middle turbinate, and this will be the middle meatus, and the maxillary sinus is opening into the in the middle meatus. You can easily appreciate these are anterior ethmoidal cells, The largest anterior ethmoidal cell is called as bulla, or a bulla ethmoidalis. Ethmoidalis. So we will go through the structures which are present in the middle meatus in detail subsequently. In a while, we will discuss it. This will be the cristageli. This will be the skull base, anterior skull base. This will be the lamina papyracea. So in this schematic representation as well, this is cristageli. This will be the cribriform plate. This will be the septum of the nasal cavity. These two shelf-like structure are middle turbinate and inferior turbinate, and this is orbital cavity. So nasal cavity takes a height in between both the eyes. So it can be easily appreciated in this diagram as well. So this is again ethmoidal bone. Ethmoidal bone. This is supposed to be the anterior skull base. Anterior skull base. These sieve-like structure are. This is cribriform plate. Cribriform plate. So and this thin plate just lateral to it is called as fovea. Fovea is the fovea ethmoidalis is a roof of the anterior skull, and it's a very thin bone again, especially where there is attachment of the superior turbinate. So and the middle turbinate as well. So these are anterior, posterior, and anterior, middle, and posterior ethmoidal cell. And some books also say anterior and posterior classification is correct. So these are anterior ethmoidal cell. These are posterior ethmoidal cell. Lateral to this will be the orbital cavity in both the sides, and we have got inferior turbinate here. Inferior turbinate is an independent bone in 206 bones. In an adult, we have got 206 or 206 bones, and inferior turbinate as a different is a isolated bone or a separate bone from the ethmoidal bone. So inferior turbinate is an independent bone, rather we can say, whereas the middle turbinate and the superior turbinate is a part of the ethmoidal bone. So this is middle turbinate, this is superior turbinate. They are part of the ethmoidal bone, whereas the inferior turbinate is an independent bone. Which articulates obviously with the ethmoidal and the lacrimal and the vomer, but it's not vomer actually, not vomer, but this greater wing of the sphenoid. This is greater wing of the sphenoid. So we have got here inferior turbinate, middle turbinate, and superior turbinate like this, and these are meatus, superior meatus, middle meatus, and inferior meatus. This is again this is horizontal plate of the maxilla or maxillary bone. This is nothing but a septal cartilage. This is perpendicular plate of the ethmoid bone, just like this. This is a perpendicular plate, and this is also the perpendicular plate. This is frontal sinus, which houses into the frontal bone. This yellow is a nasal bone. Nasal bone. So we have already gone through this. This will be the choana. This will be the choana. This will be the lacrimal bone. Lacrimal bone. This pinkish is a lacrimal bone. This is horizontal plate of the maxilla. This is incisive canal, and this is supposed the yellow is supposed to be the sphenoid bone. Sphenoid bone, and this is zygomatic bone. This is zygomatic bone. This is zygomatic. Zygomatic bone. So these are olfactory neurons. These are olfactory neurons. So this is the lateral wall of the nasal cavity. This is lateral wall of the nasal cavity. Septum we have already discussed. So in the nasal cavity, this is the septum, and these two are the lateral wall. This is the floor, and this is the roof. And both of the sides we have got the orbital cavity. Orbital cavity. This is horizontal plate. Underneath will be the orbital oral cavity. So these three shelf-like structures, this is inferior turbinate, this is middle turbinate, and this is superior turbinate. Superior turbinate. And this will be the greater wing of the sphenoid. This is pterygoid humulus. Pterygoid humulus. And just posterior to this will be the pterygopalatine. Pterygopalatine fossa. Fossa. Pterygopalatine fossa. Pterygopalatine fissure through it communicates with the parapharyngeal space. Parapharyngeal space. This is sella turcica. So this inferior turbinate is an independent bone, whereas this middle turbinate and superior turbinate is a part of ethmoid bone. So underneath this middle turbinate will be the middle meatus. Middle meatus. This will be the lacrimal bone, which on the other side will houses a lacrimal sac. So lacrimal sac opens through the nasolacrimal duct into the nasal cavity, and this nasolacrimal duct opens into the inferior meatus, just posterior to the anterior edge. So we have already discussed the musculature. This is a cut section of the middle meatus. So we have removed you can easily see that we have removed this middle turbinate, this one. So we have removed this in this section, and we have already removed some part of the inferior turbinate in order to visualize the nasolacrimal duct opening. So nasolacrimal duct opening. So this will be the lacrimal bone, and the other side we have got a lacrimal sac, and the sac opens into the nasal cavity and continues and virtually transits or terminate as the opening in of the nasolacrimal duct. So underneath will be the nasolacrimal duct. Just posterior to this will be the hiatus semilunaris. This will be the uncinate process. This will be the uncinate process. This is hiatus semilunaris. Hiatus semilunaris, and this bulge is nothing but the largest anterior ethmoidal cell, which is called as bulla or bulla ethmoidalis. So three important structures are present in this middle meatus. The middle meatus is also called as osteomeatal complex, OMC, and it houses three important structures. The anterior one is uncinate process, uncinate process, uncinate process. Posterior to the uncinate process, this groove-like structure is called as hiatus semilunaris. Hiatus semilunaris, because it is semilunar in shape. And posterior to this will be the uh, bulla ethmoidalis. Bulla ethmoidalis. And the bulla is attached to the middle turbinate, the roof of the middle turbinate. And this is the gross appearance of the middle meatus. So these three structures you have to remember: the uncinate process, hiatus semilunaris, and bulla ethmoidalis. We have already discussed about these structures. This is again the concha. We have already discussed that these three concha: the middle inferior concha or turbinate, middle turbinate, and superior turbinate. Superior meatus, middle meatus, inferior meatus. Opening of different structures we have already gone through. So this will again, this is the sphenoid bone and C1 C2. C1 C2. This is C1 C2. This occupies now anterior to this, and this will be the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland. So this is again a schematic representation. These are opening of different sinuses. You can easily appreciate this is nasolacrimal duct opening, and this is this probe into the frontal sinus, also called as frontal recess. Frontal recess is actually a duct-like structure. The recess is a structure, and the frontal sinus is opens into the middle meatus. We have removed the middle meatus, middle turbinate in this case, and this will be the uncinate process. This will be the hiatus, and this will be the bulla. So just anterior to the bulla, we have got opening of the frontal sinus, and this will be the opening of the maxillary sinus. So we have got opening of the frontal sinus into the maxillary into the middle meatus. We have opening of the maxillary sinus, and through different openings, also we have got opening of the anterior ethmoidal cell, including bulla. And the posterior ethmoidal cells opens into the superior meatus. This space, this is superior meatus. Superior meatus, and this region is called as sphenoethmoidal region. Sphenoethmoidal ethmoidal recess, and the sphenoid sinus opens into the sphenoethmoidal recess. So we have discussed all the openings of different sinuses like frontal sinus, maxillary sinus from the lateral wall, and anterior ethmoidal cell, posterior ethmoidal cells opens into the superior meatus, and the sphenoethmoidal recess, as we have got opening of the sphenoid sinus, you can easily appreciate. So again, this is lacrimal apparatus. You can see here, this is lacrimal gland, almond-shaped gland on the superior and outer aspect of the orbital cavity, and the tears are collected into the palpebral aperture and through the superior canaliculi. This is inferior canaliculi. This is common canaliculi. This is sac, and this sac is in the lacrimal fossa. Lacrimal fossa of the lacrimal bone, which is housed in the lacrimal bone, and this sac is continued by piercing into the nasal cavity. It opens into the nasal cavity underneath the inferior concha or turbinate into the inferior meatus. So this is all about the lacrimal apparatus. So we have gone through the different openings. These are some paranasal sinuses observation. This is frontal sinus, which opens into the middle meatus. Sphenoid sinus opens into the sphenoethmoidal recess, and this this frontal sinus we already discussed them. So this is supposed to be the this is not a this is an axial section. You can see this is the axial section. This is orbital cavity. This is medial rectus muscle. This is optic nerve, and this is optic chiasma. Optic chiasma just anterior to the pituitary fossa. This is sphenoid sinus. On lateral wall, we have also got a carotid artery, the internal carotid artery here. So this the recess which is formed by optic and carotid is called as opticocarotid recess, which is a again elevation protuberance which is present in which you can see inside from the sphenoid sinus through an endoscope, which is called as a opticocarotid recess OCR. And these are anterior ethmoidal cell, these are posterior ethmoidal cell, and this is orbital fat you can see, and this is the parapharyngeal space. So these are opening of different sinuses. You can see that ethmoidal sinuses are not a single sinus. These are a group of sinus, and this is opening of the maxillary sinus. This is we have got two openings, three opening, and a false opening. So this is hiatus semilunaris. Anterior to this will be the uncinate process, and just in the roof of this hiatus, you can see that there is a frontal recess is present. So we have got anterior ethmoidal cell which opens into the middle meatus. Posterior ethmoidal cells opens into the superior meatus, and this is again a sphenoid sinus opens into the sphenoethmoidal recess. So we have already accomplished that. So just you can see that this is a maxillary sinus in the lateral wall, and the opening of the maxillary sinus is present in the roof almost, the lateral wall and the roof. You can see the superior lateral wall, the opening of the maxillary sinus is so the drainage in case of a maxillary sinus is an anti-gravitational drainage. This is the reason that maxillary sinus is so much more common than the other sinuses. Frontal sinus is also very common, but maxillary sinus is common because the roof is having the opening, the lateral wall in the roof has got the opening. The anti-gravitational drainage is there, and also the floor has got this molar teeth also. The extraction of the molar teeth can also create a false track between the maxillary sinus and the oral cavity, which is called as oroantral fistula. So let me Uh, yes, again, this is a skull. This is a parietal bone. This is temporal bone, occipital, frontal, nasal cavity, lacrimal, maxillary, zygomatic, and deep to the yellow is nothing but the sphenoid bone. This is obviously the mandible. So these are the openings we have already discussed. You can easily appreciate the frontal opening through the frontal recess. This is maxillary opening, and this is uh, the points we have already elaborated. So these are the olfactory bulb and the olfactory neurons, which are coming from the olfactory bulb to the nasal cavity proper, especially in the region just superior to the superior turbinate. And this is nothing but the trigeminal ganglion, and nasal cavity is richly supplied by the trigeminal nerve as well. We'll discuss the arterial supply, the venous drainage, and the nerve supply in the topic of this epistaxis or bleeding of nasal cavity as well. So this concludes today's lecture. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe the channel also for more videos of ENT. Thank you very much.